tonight we're in central London where Tom Chalmers, the creator of Legend Press, is going to be debuting the second of his short story anthologies. It's called 7 Days, the short story reinvented. And inside we've got 3 authors who are going to give us a bit of a reading and also have a bit of a chat with us. Give us their views perhaps on the short story form and its survival in today's big bad publishing world. Inside the great and the good are gathering, they're drinking wine, they're eating food, so we're going to go inside and take a look. Come from like sort of that first short story to like now.
First collection.
Yeah.
Well, basically, obviously that's the first project that really started Legend Press. That was the one I had the idea about on a train and decided to start the.
Yeah, it was a bit of a J.K. Rowling moment for you.
I know. Well, yes. Well, go on the way to Enfield and either think about heading to Enfield or think of a publication to do. But it's yeah, that was kind of out of the whole stream of consciousness. All the kind of basic concept came there. At which point it's basically been developed into this one. We actually asked for different cultural perspectives, not necessarily religion, more kind of it could be anything from fans.
So you're basically trying to capture the everyday.
Yeah, that's where the first title came from, Remarkable Everyday. I actually thought of it when I was picking up a pint of milk from the shop. I noticed looked all around me and thought you could actually get inside everyone's kind of head, see what they're thinking. And obviously it would make a great book. But yeah, it's also a push between the idea is that everyone wants things kind of shorter, more compact these days, and people don't tend to pick up the short stories. This is kind of almost meeting in the middle. That every story is also beginning, the middle, the end of the novel, but also it has that kind of snapshot diversity that people commuting can just read one story at a time. One thing goes wrong every single time, but yeah, we try and do something kind of different, even if it's the same place. Like we had one at Africa Centre, I've had one at a big hotel, one at kind of hopefully got one at actually Indian Embassy shortly as well. So try and do something different, and I guess we're more used to doing them. But as I say, something always goes wrong at some point. It's all covered up by the time it starts. I guess it helps that it's rather than just a one-off thing. We've got quite built a good relationship with NOA through our novel list and through the other things we do, which kind of makes it easy to talk to them and show them lots of these new ideas. And as always, especially when you're a little company, it's kind of like chipping away at a block to a certain extent, and bit by bit you kind of you get more respect and people know you more and people take you more seriously as a company. So it gets easier. I actually worked in books, in journals, in yearbooks and in magazines, so I had quite a diverse start. More, by the way, worked out really well.
What kind of work were you doing in those?
That's a good question. I'm used to this for football interviews after the game. Finally. But exactly, it is. Yeah. But no, yeah. Well, I still think, but in terms of job, I guess anything I went in there, that's what we required there. I've also done kind of marketing stuff. And even virtually at the beginning, anything you're given really, so which kind of helped. No, I did plan to set up Legend Press later, but the kind of I'd run train journey home and I thought kind of why not now. I had a good network of people around me, had a lot of good ideas to start it, and a lot was just like being innovative. It's the main advantage.
And just like really sort of like just jumping in really.
Yeah, kind of. And so you look at everything one step at a time. If you told me now about having a list, not a short story list, I would have been quite scared originally, but it is a case of breaking it down, just doing it one thing at a time. The first step had failed, then I wouldn't be doing this.
The first step getting a name maybe.
Yeah, I'd be back towards being a professional footballer. When I first moved down to London, I went on the BTBS pub crawl or something.
That walkie,
quite nervous and quite kind of thinking I didn't know anyone and kind of turning up, and obviously now I'm at more events and kind of things. And I guess it has grown. There's always new things, kind of new ideas. I guess it became more kind of involved. But
I mean, obviously, and we've got this the video interview,
Well, exactly, so hopefully a bit of airbrushing that will come out alright. But yeah, and I guess it has been, and also there's people now give me advice and being helpful for me since I've set up Legend Press, so I know through the SYPs. So yes, and it's a good chance to get drunk as well.
Yeah, well, sometimes we drink. Yeah, sometimes.
Exactly.
obviously just adored him, didn't know anything about his music but thought he was gorgeous and just wanted to take care of him. And one of them was with a journalist from the NME who thought he was a genius musician but a lousy human being and hated him. And it was just the way that you could have the same character presented so differently by two journalists, and it was just fascinating to think, right, okay, what would this guy really be like? And then I just sat down and wrote the story.
Well, it's very much part of what I experienced as sort of growing up in North London as a Greek Cypriot, and it's basically charts a day in the life of someone who's kind of like torn between two worlds in a way. There's the culture thing, there's the coming to terms with his sexuality and things like that, and basically it's a very sort of pivotal day in this teenager's life.
They're all very different, the stories that I wrote. They're kind of a theme because they're all from me, so you can, if you did sit and read all of them, you would see similar themes coming up. They nearly always got a lesbian character, so I'm a lesbian. They are very often, there's mention of a child. In this particular one, although I didn't read that in the extract, the character Betty had a grandchild, had a child, had a baby, and the baby was taken away, and then had a grandchild.
In this short
never
story.
knew about in this particular short story. So there's kind of a thing about a lesbian having a child and how people react to that.
The past year, taking part in a very exciting programme funded by the Arts Council for first-time novelists by a mentoring agency called Adventures in Fiction, and they've been kind of like given me some editorial input on this first novel that I'm writing, and so my main focus is I do like to write short stories, but my novel is my focus at the moment, and I'm hoping that will be sort of ready by next year, and perhaps Tom will publish it with Legendary Press. He doesn't know this about this yet, but
yeah, it's in the pipeline. I suppose everyone does in one way.
Everybody does. It's like I'm an English graduate. I think it's like half the course. You're an English graduate, you've got a novel somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, I've got one that I've actually finished that I've decided is never going to see the light of day. So that's the one you write and then it goes in the drawer and no one ever sees it. But I'm actually working on one now. It's just been made redundant, so I've got loads of time for writing, which is fabulous. And I'm working on one now which is kind of extended the themes of this one. So again, it's about celebrities and it's about somebody's life hideously unravelling, but it's a lot more complicated and a lot dirtier, this one.
Submitting things to agents, submitting things to publishers, and you just don't hear back. You know, for months and months and months you don't hear back, and then you get a standard rejection letter. And so I just stopped and I concentrated on short stories, and I think if I can get famous for short stories, then I'm more likely to make an inroad with the novels.
Well, it all begins on the SYP websites.
Yeah.
You know, the face on the London's premier publishing society network page. But thanks very much for chatting to us.
Okay.